Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on the 27th of February 2022 with FLOSSTUBE number 114. This is the third time I've recorded this video because it's hard right now and I've never re-recorded a video. I might have had a couple of false starts, or one time I didn't push record. It was just not good. Yeah, I'm struggling with the firestorm that is in the world at the moment, and I just don't even know what's going on. Just greed and sociopaths being in charge of countries, and it's just horrible. Anyway, yeah, it's a tough old time, and my heart goes out to anybody who is affected by, like really closely affected by what's going on over in Europe and Ukraine, obviously in particular. It's crap. Okay, I did buy a chart from a Ukraine designer. She sort of reached out on Instagram just saying, please, you know, support her if you can. Her stuff's not really my style, but I did buy this cute little mermaid. So it's from Stitchy Princess on Etsy. The lovely mermaid, and I imagine when I do eventually stitch it, I'll put a little pearl bead into the clamshell to make it cuter. But I don't know, sometimes I buy things to support people. It doesn't mean I'm actually going to stitch them, but we'll see. One day I might. So yeah, what's been going on? Yesterday, I've been working. I did drive into work one day this week, on Thursday I think it was, because I needed human company and I'm avoiding public transport as recommended by my employer. So I drove in early and spent the day in the office. There was like 12 people on my floor, so yeah, it was quiet, but it was kind of nice to put on proper clothes. I get dressed, but I wear I don't wear shoes in the house, so you know, put shoes on and makeup and went to work, which is quite nice. So that was good to get out of into the office. It's kind of weird. And then on Saturday, Friday, twice last week I went to the hand clinic. That's I'm going there for physio rehab on my hand, my wrist. Long story, but I had a fall a while ago and heard lots of things, and this is still, I thought it was my elbow. It might be a little bit of my elbow, like potentially I've got a little bit of cubital tunnel, but mostly she thinks it's my wrist, and I did fall on my hands and knees and it's conducive with an injury. So this is to stop me using my wrist. I wear this like 22 hours a day. At night I take it off when I go to the bathroom so I can wash my hands, and I take it off to cook dinner and to eat and stuff, but I don't spend hours and hours a day eating. There's a bit of a shit, yeah. So I'm getting some dry needling done, possibly some electric pulse therapy stuff as well, particularly on my elbow, because I do have tennis elbow as well. So depending on how well this goes, I may continue going for this tennis elbow and then this tennis elbow, but that would be private because they're not under, this is under ACC because I had an accident. Anyway, so that was Friday, and then I went to some thrift shops and I picked up a few frames that I might use for finishing, but they're all small, mostly just standard picture frames, 5x7 or 4x6, which I don't do a lot of smalls, and we'll see, but they're only like $1 or $2. Any big frames were just like battered, and there weren't any really nice big frames anyway that were like, well, if this wasn't damaged I would buy it. It was they were very kind of cheap, stapled together kinds of frames that were not well maintained. Like that, anything that still has a piece of art in it that might be being sold as an artwork versus being sold as a frame at the thrift store. So they've got like some crummy old magazine print in them or some terrible painting. They have $45, $50 price tags on them. So it'd have to be damn perfect for a piece for me to pay $50 for a secondhand frame. And they weren't even that nice, you know what I mean? There was nothing that I was like, oh yeah, that's worth $50 to frame a sampler or something. So, however, framing news. My friend Tracy came out on the train, or well, the bus, train replacement, aka a bus, on Saturday morning. Excuse me. Because after nearly 8 months, her cross stitch that I stitched for her was finally ready to be picked up from the framer. My local framer had extreme difficulty getting mats and like supply chain issues. The frames are bad enough, but getting the mats, and I think she had ordered it 3 separate times, and finally the third time when her mat shipment arrived, it was in there. And we'd even gone through the thing like, do we change the mat to a different brand and see. Tracy couldn't find the colour that she liked, and once you fall in love with something, anyway, she's really happy with it, I believe. I met her, we went to the framing store, picked it up because she doesn't have a car, so I would drive her home with it because it's quite big, and she got museum glass and stuff on it, so you don't want to risk dropping that on the bus. So today I picked up my friend, Tracy, from I was going to say the airport, but I met the train station. She came in to visit me to pick up her, finally, after 8 months at the bloody framers, her framed linotte that I stitched for her back in 2020, I think. So this is called Enjoying a Summer's Evening, I think is what it's called. And it's an old linotte chart, which I stitched for her. And yeah, finally got it framed. And I think she's very happy with it. And we think it came out really lovely. And I was very paranoid about the face and the hands because I know she's a thing about faces and hands. I stitched those bloody fingers that many times to not make them too fat because, you know, we don't want a fat-fingered girl. Anyway, she's going to audition in a couple of places in her home. This is her home I'm in, and she's standing behind me listening to me. So there we go. That is a finished object that I stitched, but yeah. I took in 3 samplers to get framed, and 1 old one, so one from 1999 and one from 2020 and one from 2021. So I won't tell you what they are till they come back. 3 different frames, and I'm really excited, and I don't know when they'll be due, but hopefully sooner than 6 months. I don't think, Bridget said if they had framing in stock, you know, it'll be really, really quick. It just depends on whether it's in stock or not at the supplier, whether they have to wait for it to come in from overseas. So it is what it is. I didn't pick anything particularly difficult for them to get, I believe. So they're kind of their standard sort of range. So I'm excited about that. Not excited about paying for it, although they weren't as expensive. 2 of them I just got UV glass, and 1 of them I've got museum glass. How do I decide? I just decided at the time, depending on the piece. So it's pretty exciting. And then I drove Tracy around town while I ran a whole lot of errands, probably put myself at the most risk of getting COVID as I have the whole pandemic. I think I was closer to strangers yesterday than I have been for 2 years. I had to drop off something at the warehouse, a return, ergonomic keyboard replacement. And they'd sent me the replacement, but had said just drop it off. And the way they funnel people through the warehouse to get through checkout, nobody kept their distance. People were just like crammed in and pushed in and shoving, because the kinds of people that shop at the warehouse aren't necessarily patient. So we'll see, because you know we've got the COVID here now, and probably I'm sure there was somebody yesterday out in Upper Hutt that had it, and we'll see what happens. But I'm excited about getting my 3 pieces framed, and yeah, I just want to get quite a bit framed this year if I can, because I have a huge pile in the wardrobe, and I have a couple of huge blank walls that I want to have samplers on. So there's a big wall opposite my kitchen, sort of on the passageway, I guess, but I have a big wall on the back of my craft room when I walk in from the garage into my kitchen, a huge wall that I want to have like 15 things on at least. So that will be a big sampler wall, and then in the spare bedroom there's a big wall that can hold, you know, 8 or 9 things. So we want to start getting things on the walls. That's rather than being in the cupboard. Right, stitching. I've told you what I bought. Nothing new's come in. My country stitch order had a bit of an issue where Catherine accidentally sent my fabric to another person in the South Island, and when she saw it, she basically put it in the wrong package, and that person likes it so much that they're going to buy it. So now Catherine's re-dyeing me my piece. So hopefully next weekend I'll get my monthly Rainbow Club. I mean, it's fine. I don't need it. But, you know, we like shiny things in the mail, and I have to be patient. Right. I had my new start. I had start number 6 of 50 for my 50 at 50, which was finally 2 weeks too late. 2 weeks late, not too late. Panoply of Peacocks from Tempting Tangles Designs, which I'm stitching on 40 count. Silver Fern linen from Country Stitch, and I started this on the 20th of February 2022. And this is what it looks like for those of you who don't know. And I had put the vote to the people earlier this year, and whether I should do silk or cotton, and silk one, so I'm stitching it with my own conversion of silk, mostly Silks For You. I'm possibly going to change one of the colours. Having stitched it, I'm like, it might be a bit light, but I'm happy with it for now, and if I start change, it'll be right at the end once I've stitched the rest of it. So on the bottom row, the brightest sort of turquoisey aqua might go a shade darker. I think it's a little bit light between the green and that blue. And when I stitch the feather up here, I'll adjust the colours, and then I might, so that blue in there is sort of the equivalent of that blue down there. Although this is more realistic looking and these are more stylised, so I'll just stitch this first, and if I decide I need to, I'll change the lighter colour in there. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it so far. And yeah, and I love the colour. It's not showing properly. It looks a bit bluer on the screen than it is, but it is definitely green, and it's pretty. It's such a pretty fabric. I do love Silver Fern, and I'm glad I didn't have to buy a second piece of it because I did actually have the right size piece. So I got that started, but I only stitched on that for a couple of days. I only stitched on it for a couple of days. I picked up Sunrise from Carolyn Designs, which I'm stitching on 20 count. Aida from Tom and Lily Creations in the colour Soleil. And I started this on the 22nd of December 2020, and I finished it. So I finished on the 25th of February. So I pushed. I was about 86% where I stopped last time, and I was colour completing, and yeah, it's so quick because using Pattern Keeper and just picking a colour and stitching it all up. So here it is, all finished, and I'm very happy with it. I do love her shooting star designs. So that is a finish. I can't remember what my whip count is right now. And then yesterday I was like, do I pick up the peacocks? And I was like, well, it'd be nice to show you 3 things rather than 2. So I've had a start and I've had a finish, and then I picked up a whip. So I picked up again my first start, my birthday start. So start 1 of 50 from the 18th of January, which is Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut, which I'm stitching on 40 count beige from Weeks Dye Works using a partial conversion, but mostly the called for. As you have been living in a cave and haven't seen it, this is the design, so it's a modern sampler. And I did a little bit, picked this up last night and then again this morning. So last night I filled in all the foliage on the pot, so I had got the pot and the brown branches done, and then I added all the blue foliage and the green leaves. Stitched that little bird, that bird, stitched his tail twice because, as I told Margaret over Messenger last night on Instagram, I stitched the tail in the wrong colour, so I frogged it last night and I finished the tail this morning. I did those 3 little motifs and the bee, and then this morning I restitched that tail and I did these 3, so 3 more of the border. So I've only got 8 more of the border fill-ins to do, 5 of the floral and, well, this floral and 3 of that one. So that should be maybe next couple of times I pick it up. I'll either do 2, 3 or 4, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. So I'll probably come back on and do this here. So finish the other little bird that's down here, this little buddy, and this pot here. And then, because I'm using a paper copy, I can then just cut the chart off here, make it smaller. Yeah, so if I do that one there, and then a couple more up here, maybe finish off these 2 up here, then I'll feel like close to halfway done. With all the border and getting to there, yeah, it's probably halfway done. Huzzah. So yeah, once more, I'm really happy with it. I think it's really lovely, and I loved doing that pot. Well, also it brought in another colour. It brought in the blue, which is sort of unexpected but pleasant when you've done mostly green and red and beige. So very good. So that was my whip. So I'm glad to be still making progress on those. My new start this week, it won't be today. I'm saving that till the 1st of March because that will be the meteorological first day of autumn. And reminder, I'm going to be starting Teresa Wentzler's Fall, one of the carousel horses, and all called for linen, called for everything. Looking forward to that. So that'll be Tuesday after work. I'll start that. And that one, you know, it'll be nice to be doing something. I haven't done Teresa Wentzler for so long. I'm really looking forward to it. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Thanks for putting up with me this week. It's probably not my best work. Thankfully, my stitching always looks lovely, even if I say so myself. You know, where's your lie on me to do lovely stitching, even when my hand's in a frickin' thing. Where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, when I had the trigger finger and I had this taped, I still managed to stitch. So I reckon I'd work out how to stitch with the needle in my mouth if I had to. I don't know. I shouldn't joke about it. Okay, I'm gonna go because I've run out of things to say and it feels really awkward now. So I don't even know why. You'd think after 114 goes at this, I'd be a little bit more professional. No. You know what I say, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.